want to thank you all so much for coming, and thank especially the Los Angeles Press Club and Diana Yunus for her, I think I pronounced it right this time. Last year, I know I did a terrible job. The LA Press Club has been genuinely visionary in, as a membership organization that understands, appreciates, and values the diverse voices that make up not only a city like Los Angeles and Southern California, moreover, but the media sphere and the global culture that we all live in today. And giving voice to LGBT people from this podium and from this center, we see the bust of Steve Allen, who was a humanist, who I don't know where he stood on LGBT issues, but I suspect that he would have been very happy to see the doors wide open of the Steve Allen Theater to welcome people like me and this host of people that we have who are all LGBT people or allies of the LGBT community. This is actually the first engagement. It's the fourth engagement of the panel series, LGBTs in the News, but it's the first one to where we have invited non-LGBT people, but people who are allies in the personages of Gloria Allred and Erica Jane, both of whom will be honored shortly for their support of LGBT equality. Just going down the line, we'll start at the far, this is my right? Yes, far right end of the long line of panelists we have here. Please meet Blue Montana. Blue is a civil rights activist and an LGBT activist, well known in San Diego and throughout Southern California for his hard work, very grassroots level work. Blue will be the subject of a documentary that will tell the story of his transition to a gender affirmation surgery, through a gender affirmation surgery that will realize his actuality as being a male American citizen of the planet, and we think it's the first time that type of a documentary will be done. Teek Milan is senior media strategist at GLAAD. GLAAD has been, he's actually flown in, we have two panelists who have flown in from New York tonight. Teek is senior media strategist at GLAAD, and GLAAD, you can't overstate the effect of the work that GLAAD has done through the years in holding Hollywood accountable to represent the LGBT community in all types of media, from television, radio, film especially, and gives a scorecard, I believe, annually for entertainment companies and production companies that have done a good job at representing the LGBT community. Next to Teek, we have Joel Martins. Joel is editor-in-chief and somewhat of a wizard of words of two editions of the magazine, the entertainment and lifestyle magazine called The Rage Monthly. He edits he's editor-in-chief of both the Los Angeles and the San Diego edition of The Rage Monthly. Next to Joel, lucky Joel, we have, and I said this out in the lobby, and it's true that Gloria Allred is truly an idol of mine. If she doesn't mind me saying so, I have admired her since I was a teenager. Before I even knew I wanted to be a journalist, I used to watch Gloria. I would, kind of a geeky 14-year-old, I would sit there and watch her on this show called Free for All that used to be on Channel 4, and she was just a dynamo, and she taught me how to stand by my values and fight for them and speak up when other people were being bullied by others. Gloria Allred is she is a legend in our time, and I am so humbled and grateful to have her here tonight. Gloria will be receiving the inaugural Elgy Award, which we give every year to an ally of the LGBT community for their work on behalf of our civil rights. And next to Gloria, we have Erica Jane, who is believe it or not, I was told that I didn't need to mention that she was a 7-time #1 chart topper on the Billboard dance charts. She's a vocalist and a recording artist extraordinaire, and a huge supporter of LGBT equality. She does a lot just through her art, just through the art of her music that is very inclusive, and also by making sure that her concerts reflect a diverse and LGBT inclusive atmosphere. And we're lucky and grateful to have Erica here. She will be receiving the first ever LG honor, which is the second award that we'll be giving tonight. Jason Stewart is an actor. He is an actor with so many credits that I can never recite them completely. His most recent film, Love is Strange, was critically acclaimed, one of the most trailblazing and most critically acclaimed films of 2014. He also has a web series called Mentor, which you're probably already familiar with, and we'll talk a little bit more about what he's working on these days. Noah Michelson is... Noah Michelson is an executive editor at the Huffington Post. He's executive editor of the Gay Voices vertical at the Huffington Post, and managing editor at the site Moreover. I think, is that a fair way to put it?
Yeah, I also do the Black Voices and Latino Voices.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you're also editor of Black Voices and Latino Voices there. So thank you all for coming. It's a big panel, but we're going to dive right in. This is our first year giving an award. We have an award and an honor. The honor, the LG honor, is for the entertainer, the LGBTs in the News Entertainer of the Year, and goes to Erica Jane. And we're going to do this very quickly and straightforward and just hand her the honor and thank her so much for being a supporter of LGBT equality. If you'll indulge me, I'd like to say just a few words about some of the achievements that Gloria Allred has accomplished to gain the attention of myself and some past panelists. We talked about who we wanted to give the first LG award to, and we decided that Gloria Allred was the natural choice. And some of the reasons, I'm just going to read a few words that I prepared earlier. It might sound familiar. Part of it was in our press release. The first ever LG award is being presented to Gloria Allred for her work as a civil rights attorney and advocate for equality, which is legendary. You know, she's never shy to represent victims of abuse and discrimination in high-profile cases, but Gloria is also quietly championing the rights of victims in lesser-known cases. Little known to the general public was her pioneering fight in 1983. This goes back to 1983 for the right of a lesbian couple celebrating their anniversary to sit in the romantic couples-only section of a fine dining establishment called Papa Chu's. I don't know if anybody remembers that restaurant. It doesn't exist anymore. We don't need to clap for them.
Was it you and Robin? No. Oh.
It was her first legal battle on behalf of the rights of lesbians to be free of discrimination from a business. She and her law firm won a precedent-setting victory in the California Court of Appeals in that case, which she and other lawyers have been able to cite as precedent to protect other gay and lesbian individuals from discrimination. Jumping forward to January of 1987, Gloria filed a lawsuit against Jessica's Nail Salon. Now, picture this. This is the late 80s. It's actually the mid-80s, and fear and paranoia about the HIV virus are just running rampant. People don't know, willfully in some cases, don't know that HIV/AIDS cannot be spread through casual contact. Well, Gloria filed a lawsuit against Jessica's Nail Salon on behalf of Paul Jasperson because the nail salon denied him a pedicure after learning that he was HIV positive. Ms. Allred and her firm won 2 precedent-setting victories in that case for Paul and victims of HIV/AIDS discrimination, I should say. Then, jump forward to the 2000s, Gloria was the first attorney in California to challenge the family code ban on marriage equality in the state. In 2008, she and other attorneys won the right for same-sex couples to legally marry for the first time ever in California. Few know that it was her law firm's argument before the California Supreme Court that saved the marriages of thousands of people who had been married before Proposition 8 passed. So if you think about it, we all remember when President Barack Obama was Senator Obama and he was running to become the first African-American president. There was also another major advent during that election period, and that was the campaign to take away the right to marry from people who had just won it. Gloria saw the writing on the wall that that was probably going to happen, but she was the only attorney who said, look, you can't take away the marriage license of the people who've already been married. And because of her efforts with the California Supreme Court, that right was retained. We actually have the first couple to be married in California back in 2008 with us, thanks to Gloria, who invited Robin Tyler and Diane Olson are here, and we're so grateful to have them.
Yay!
As Hillary.
Also a SAG-AFTRA member.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And
But we have two SAG-AFTRA members. We have Gloria Allred and we have Jason Stewart.
I'm the national chair of the Screen Actors Guild after LGBT committee.
Oh, and Robin you're also a member?
Robin is also. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
She's a very talented comedian, I must say.
Well, I did know that. I didn't know that.
Oh, she's a
My
SAG.
dues are late, but I have my score.
Well, honey, it's no
We've
longer
got
SAG,
four of
it's
you.
SAG-AFTRA.
Oh, pardon. That's good. I'll let you know when it's good.
It's
I
been a
see
long
the
time, so
panelists.
pay your dues.
This is what my panels are known for. Here we go. And I'm happy about that. I could go on. I think we know that Gloria's bona fides in terms of her support and advocacy of LGBT equality are platinum. And I'm sorry that this award is not platinum. I wish I could afford that. But I would love to give you the first ever LG Award for your outstanding support of LGBT equality. Gloria, would you tell us what got you started? Why did you take that first case that was Papa Choose?
Well, some years earlier, I had met with, may he rest in peace, Morris Kite at his McCadden home, remember? And he had called me there, and I don't know why. I had met him, and I don't remember how, but he had a meeting, and he said, Gloria, I want you to do civil cases for the gay and lesbian community. I want you to fight for their civil rights. I said, isn't there anybody else who's doing that? And he said, well, mostly the cases have been criminal cases. Somebody's charged with sodomy and so forth. And we need someone to do the civil rights, and you've been fighting for women's rights, and we think you can do this. You can do gay and lesbian rights. So, and we need you to do it, and you have to do it. And that's how it went that night. So I said, well, okay, because Morris Kite was the kind of person you didn't say no to, because he was just a huge person in the gay and lesbian community. He was so passionate, so committed, and he said, you just have to do it. So I said, okay, in an appropriate case, I will. And, we did some smaller things before that, but then came Sandra Roland and Ms. Johnson into my office, and one was a Latina businesswoman, and the other was an African-American businesswoman. They were life partners. And they told me what happened. And they said, we went to Papa Shoe restaurant. It's a fine dining establishment. It happened to be near where I went to law school, Loyola. And they said, we went there to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. And we made a reservation to sit in the romantic section. It had nice sheer curtains and violinists strolling by, and you could make a call from there and just have some privacy, I guess. Kiss
Before
behind the
cell
sheer
phones.
curtains if you wanted to. And so they were taken in, they were seated in there, and then suddenly the maitre d' came and said, sorry, you can't sit here. This is for couples only. And they said, well, what are we? We're a couple. And he said, no. It's opposite sex couples only. We have a house policy against two people of the same sex sitting in this romantic section. You can sit anywhere else in the restaurant, but not in this. go up a few steps, romantic section for dining. So
Right
they
there,
said-
that's like shades of back of the bus.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they thought. So then they said, well, we want to see the owner. So then they brought the owner over, and they went through the same thing. The owner said, no, you'll have to sit anywhere else, but not here. And they said, well, why? He said, well, because there's a city ordinance in the city of Los Angeles that two people of the same sex can't sit in this romantic section. And they said, well, you know, we're not lawyers, but we don't think there's any such law in the city of Los Angeles. Sounds ridiculous. So they said, well, you know what? We think this is like being asked to sit in the back of the bus, sit anywhere else in the restaurant, but not the romantic section. And so they said publicly, we have to ask ourselves, what would Martin Luther King Jr. want us to do? And they said, he would want us to call Gloria Allred. So they came in and they presented the situation to me, and I discussed it with my partners, and we said, well, like, what is this? Is this sex discrimination? Is this sexual orientation discrimination? Is this a stupid little case, or does this really matter? And then finally we decided, well, if you think that Rosa Parks sitting in the back of the bus was just about a bus ride, then I guess you think this is not important. It's just about where you sit in a restaurant. But if you think it matters that people are entitled to equal respect and dignity, then this is like Rosa Parks, and we need to do something about this. We need to fight. And so then, again, we had to decide, is it sex discrimination, sexual orientation, what is this, and is there any law in California which would prohibit this? So we filed the case. We had a big, of course, press conference with them outside the restaurant and everything. And anyway, we went to court. The judge said he wanted to see the booth, which was very funny, actually, because really it's kind of irrelevant as a matter of law, but fine. So we all went down. He saw the romantic section. And ultimately, he ruled against us. And we thought, well, this is really heartbreaking and bad.
Yeah.
And we can't let this stand. So we went up to the Court of Appeals. And it was the first case like that. And really, the issue was, legally, can a business discriminate against a couple on account of the fact they are of the same sex? Can they deny a service in a certain area of the business because of that? And we won. We won in a precedent-setting decision, which we were able to cite. Thank you.